That just ends so abruptly. That's
It
just
really
so
does.
abrupt. It's
It's
so
just like, and
and
we're done.
done. I'm gonna work on that. I forgot that last time because it's been a little bit. It's like, okay, I guess we're just gonna stop. Well, welcome to Shenanigans, and this is where we literally just talk shenanigans, right? So we have an open, maybe aggressive, overall accepting conversation about things that maybe we all don't agree with. And so tonight's discussion is going to be the tip top of all of that, of all the discussions we've had over the course of the year, off and on. This one's going to get hairy. And so, of course, we have the girls here tonight. Kathy's with us. She's going to be in and out because she's got some time with her kid. Katie's going to jump in here and there. You know how she operates, her Irish hellos and her Irish goodbyes. And then Amber and I are here. So we're going to hop right into it. And so I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but it seems like women's rights have been a point of controversy and contention and have been center of attention since literally the beginning of time. And if you're not sure about that, I'll refer you to the world's oldest publication that I'm aware of. And it starts with the words "in the beginning," right? So in that same book, however, some of the most powerful women are identified, they're recognized, and they were revered in that book for playing pivotal roles in religious history. However, where sacred stories end, bipartisan and social history begins, which means women were often, since that point of that book, women were often recognized posthumously for their contributions that were like industrial improvement or economic enhancements and manufacturing magnificence. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm really not surprised, and that's not a problem because of course I have a list. And stereotypically speaking, as a woman would, I have a list. And so so on that list.
Love a
See
good
what I did
list.
there? So many of you are aware of the Amelia Earharts and the Marie Curies and the Aretha Franklins of the past and the present, and probably won't be surprised at the future versions of those women. But how many of you know who Mary McLeod Bethune was? She was a huge civil rights and educational activist for the Black community. Katherine Johnson, also a Black female, was made famous by the movie Numbers. She was pivotal as a NASA mathematician. She's the reason that we made our way to the moon and got back again. Rosalind Franklin, she is the person who identified the double helix in our DNA. Many of you may not know who Alice H. Parker was, and if you are enjoying indoor heating, you owe her a thank you. I don't think any of you, not too many rather, probably know who Henrietta Lack was. It was because of her stolen cancer cells that we made such major medical breakthroughs throughout history. Ramon de la Roche, she was the first female to earn her pilot's license. Now, many may believe that Amelia Earhart earned her pilot's license first as a female. She did not. She was the first female to fly as far as she did and make the first attempt around the world in an aircraft as a female. Unfortunately, she didn't complete that, but Ramon de la Roche was the actual first woman to earn her pilot's license. And then my personal favorite, and if you know who this woman is, you'll understand why she's my personal favorite. Amber, she'd probably be one of yours as well, and I know she'd be Katie's. Deborah Sampson, she was the first woman to serve in the military in the 1700s, which was not allowed, unheard of, and not supposed to happen. And the way she got away with that is she disguised herself as a man. And that's a really great story. Ask me about that in a little bit. So what these women, all these women and so many other like them, what they have in common is they went above and beyond the call of social duty that was assigned to them. They forged their own paths that were unknown to their peers, things that their fellow women thought were impossible. They took the idea of what women were socially constructed to do, and they ignored it. They favored their own dreams and goals instead. So these women, and so many like them, they sought after their own path. They stayed true to themselves, and they left behind those that would sooner anchor them down. Yet, despite these women and their impressive impact and their ahead of their time accomplishments, for some reason, women today, not all, but some, feel the need to fight and scream to protect their rights that they think are they're under fire. Rights like voting and medical care, and an extreme thought process is even the right to quote unquote work. So never mind the fact that 3 women have ran for president. Yes, there are 3. Ask me if you don't know who the third one is. We have had a woman hold the highest seat in the US office, vice president. And we have women all over the world running countries. But yet, some still think they need to fight for their rights. They still think their rights are being threatened and under fire. And their way of fighting back is shaving their head, screaming at the sky, or making outrageous claims. And I'm curious as to how that's helping anything. But if these women took that same kind of effort and energy and put it into something constructive, something that improves how society evolves and views the world, wouldn't that be better? What if women stopped seeing the world from the it's us versus them and started seeing the world as more of an opportunity like many of those before us? So that probably means letting go of the past and forging into a future and resetting the standard and doing what our determined ancestral sisters did, made a difference whether anybody knew it was them or not, because the women of the past made a difference not to be known but to make a difference. So that is the shenanigans talk for the night. And so Kathy's with us, Amber's with us, and I thought somebody else snuck in, but I don't see them because I couldn't see the screen when I was working with my monologues. My monologue's written, but I make it look natural, but I thought somebody clicked in, but maybe not. They'll come back. It'll be great. Hi, Amber. Hi, Kathy.
Hello, hello.
Kathy's going to be quiet. She's currently finishing up a golfing game with her son, so when she kicks his ass, she'll chime back in. So, and then the chat is live. I don't think Cash says he was here, but left because he's in England, so his time change is different. And then Patrick's here. Hello, Patrick. So let me change the layout of this. This layout is awful. Now it's a little bit better. We're not all small.
I can see your face.
It's been a little bit since I had to work with this stuff. Anyway. So, okay. So kind of going to come into this. First off, Amber and Kathy, if you can chime in, great. If not, that's fine too. Amber, did you know any of the names of the women that I mentioned?
A few of them.
Which ones?
Let's see. Of course, you're putting me on the spot. Actually, remembering the names.
I can pull up the names.
It's more of like I remember that the person that did that was a woman, like the one who was disguised herself as a man.
You knew who Deborah Sampson was.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't have been able to tell you her name, but yes, I've heard her story, which is absolutely amazing.
So that is it was me. I don't. Oh, hold on. I have to interrupt us because Katie said it was her. Oh, I see now. I see you. No, I don't see you now. Come back in, Katie. It's not showing me that you're here anymore. She'll come back. I'll watch out. I thought it was her. So the great thing about Deborah Sampson, it was back in the 1700s. Where there she is. There's that click. Hi, Katie.
Hi, I've been here waiting for someone to let me in, and
I think I need to make Amber the other. Like, there's like 4 of us are admins. I need to check and see if Amber's the other admin. Okay, so the monologue was this big spiel about the women that we obviously know, Aretha Franklin's and Amelia Earhart's and Marie Curie's, but there's some other women out there in the world that maybe we weren't taught to know. Like I remember growing up and hearing about Amelia Earhart. Aretha Franklin was big in the news because she was a big vocalist and everybody knew who she was. And I knew who Marie Curie was. I learned about her in school, but women like Deborah Sampson and Henrietta Lacks and Mary McLeod Bethune, Rosalind Franklin, Alice Parker, Ramon de la Roche. Any of these women ring a bell to you, Katie?
a couple. Well, of course, the very popular names. Yes,
right.
A couple. Yeah, I don't know as much probably as others may on some of the not so known names. I guess.
So tell me who, just for funsies, just to prove a point. The point of the monologue. Who is Eli Whitney?
Yeah, that one I don't.
Yeah, you do. You learn that one in
Inventor
school.
of the cotton gin or something.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, well,
his wife actually invented it, but he took the prize for it because he was a guy women could not have proprietary
I mean, yeah, I know the name, but I wasn't sure where you were going with this and what name. Yeah, like
Stick with me on it. Benjamin Franklin, not because of him being on the money, but you know that he was an inventor.
yeah,
Right?
of course.
George Washington, major politician and general. Ulysses S. Grant, Robert E. Lee, Geronimo, all these men we could list. There's a long list of men that we can name. Maybe, and even if we didn't name them off the bat, somebody could say, "Oh, do you know who so and so is?" You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know that dude's name." But you say a name like Henrietta Lacks, and you're like, "Not sure." Or Alice Alice Parker, which Alice Parker was the reason that we have indoor heating today. By the way, not many people know that.
I was sleeping during class that day.
It wasn't introduced in classes back in the day. We
Well,
were not taught these
whatever.
things. But that's the thing, is these women were in the shadows. They were overshadowed by other inventors, specifically men. The occasional woman was chucked into there. Amelia Earhart she's given a lot of credit as being the first female to get a pilot's license, but she actually was not. That was Roland de la Roche. Amelia Earhart just attempted to fly around the world first as a female. And so we know her far more than other women who have done amazing things. And so there's just an imbalance there. And that's why I was curious, did anybody know? I've known who Mary McLeod Bethune was since I was in elementary school, because I did a report on her because I found her by chance back, that was, oh God, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. I'm old. But so are we struggling with rights today because we don't have the recognition out there that men have received? Or I guess I should ask, do you see the struggles that some women are exhibiting or trying to speak to about women's rights today?
You asking me or Katie?
Well, Katie just did an Irish goodbye, but she's just silent and quiet. So
She's like,
Still here.
yeah.
you see there. So whoever talks first talks first. Do you agree that
I
there's a
definitely
struggle for women's rights right now?
say that again.
Is there a struggle for women's rights? Is there a legitimate feel for women's rights being threatened?
I mean, from my perspective, absolutely. But I think that, I feel like you've also kind of answered your own question there, because with women throughout history constantly being overshadowed, you think
Women's
about
rights are always being sorry to interrupt. Women's rights are always being challenged, and
right.
That's just
challenge is one thing, threatened is
threatened. That too. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Why?
Historically, yes.
Yeah.
So, but today,
think about it,
historically is one thing, but today, today, as we've got a business owner here, we're all working women. Are those rights threatened today, as some might lead us to believe in the media?
Yes.
There's always a chance of that. Yes.
Why?
Yes.
You guys tell me why, because I vehemently disagree with
before.
that. Where?
It's happened before. Things can go backwards. We've seen so many things go backwards just in the past 5 years. And I know, I don't want to make a slippery slope argument. But when you look at, what has happened in the past with women, and realizing that, we've made great strides by leaps and bounds, but it was not even 100 years ago that women couldn't vote. It was not even 100 years ago that we could not own land, that we could not have a bank account, that we could not have a credit card. I think that, like, having a bank account and a credit card, I think that right was given to women just a couple years before I was born. So people or women specifically, being majorly held back is such a recent part of history for us, that it's always going to be, for a long time coming, just going to be a constant fight to keep it from slipping backwards.
Totally agree.
You
Yep.
honestly think that in today's world there is because I vehemently disagree with you guys on this one. Totally
Oh
disagree.
boy.
I don't for a second. No, but I think there's some perspectives to take into account here. Most of my professional career has been under men who have worked with me and trained me to get me to the next level. So most of my career development has been based on me using male mentors. I've never had, I've been a single mom, I've been a stay-at-home mom, I've done this, that, and the other, and I just don't see it. I see the evolution of rights that women have accumulated over the years, but I don't see us losing the right to vote, the ability to work, the right to own property, the right to have a credit card, the right to get a loan. Those, and actually getting a loan is not a right. That's something that a business can make the decision to or not to do based on liabilities. There's a problem there, right?
Well,
But
that's not going to go backwards. That's not what
it's going to
Amber's
go back.
saying.
That's why I'm trying to get my head wrapped around is what's the potential for going backwards? What rights are we looking at losing if in this day and age?
Well, I mean, just over the past year, we've seen abortion rights getting rolled back tremendously, and that is actually a right of bodily autonomy for women. So
Okay.
that's a huge one for me. Because to me, I feel like that could raise a huge red flag, because if things continue going in that direction, um something else could be next, or it could just simply be that if people are forced to have children that they don't want, um I mean that can cause so many issues just in society alone and women as a whole, because if you've got women having babies that they don't want and can't afford, you're keeping a greater part of the population poor, when they could potentially have had another path in life had they had the choice. Um, and so, rolling back that one thing, maybe it would take 50 years, maybe it would take 20 years, not really sure, to really see the dramatic effects of that.
Mhm.
But the thing is that is there will be a dramatic effect from that.
So okay, so if you go back to, you're talking about the reversal of Roe versus Wade.
Right. And I mean, just recently, many states have as soon as Roe versus Wade got overturned, there were so many states that immediately put into place that, okay, well, no abortions are going to happen here.
Because
Not even,
that was
not
the whole
even,
point of Roe versus Wade, was
not
to
even with
protect the
like
state.
medical necessity and things like that. And so, I mean, we've been seeing
Yeah.
more women die, um, just because they can't get the medical care that they need.
So
And so, I mean, if you're just looking at something just as simple as that.
well, but Roe versus Wade wasn't about abortion. It was about, and not many people know this, and I've actually read the case. I had to go back through and read it when they were talking about overturning it and giving that power back to the states. I don't agree with every state did, but I live in a state
Right.
where Kathy, Katie, and I, and Bronwyn, and just the four of us, you and Carrie, Amber, don't live in Kansas, but Kansas, in our
Oklahoma's the
constitution.
same though.
Yeah. So in our constitution in Kansas, abortion's protected. We actually had a big state vote a couple of years ago because
Oh, you're right. I got that confused. Oklahoma was the one that immediately shut it down.
yeah, but so in Kansas you still can. You can there, and there's still some things in there, but the opportunity is still there in Kansas because it's in our constitution as a state. And even though politicians tried to get that overturned, the people are like, nope, not going to do it. We're not letting you overturn that. That is our right. We're keeping, and it was amazing how many people voted for that, which ironically, our voting poll was at a church that took place in.
They
So I found
always
it,
are, which
I
is
know, and
so
I found the
weird to
irony
me.
so interesting, but they can't say anything,
Yes.
right? And actually, Roe versus Wade, I will say this: overturning it was the correct thing to do at the legal level, because it was not about abortion, was not about medical care, it was not about medical anything. It was about privacy. If you go back and read Roe versus Wade, it was all about privacy. It just happened to be that one of the plaintiffs in that case happened to be pursuing an abortion, but didn't want her name out there. And that's how that got wrapped up into there. So it was never about abortion. There was a clinic that was listed in that case, and then 2 or 3 private individuals, and it was all about keeping medical. It's like HIPAA. It was all about keeping shit private. That's all.
But it does. I mean, people know it as the abort. Like I get,
Unfortunately, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you
unfortunately,
know,
yes.
even though
affected
you say it's not about abortion,
greatly.
I mean, that's really why it was.
That's the big,
You
it's
know,
the heat behind it. I get it. And I agree. There wasn't enough education and the media did not help that. But I'm not a big media proponent. Sorry, Dave Williams, if you're watching this. I love you guys at Cake, but still, you guys are not that great at what you do, which is why I tried to come help you. That was so egotistical to say out loud, but I don't care. Wanted to fix the media because I know you only have so much. But that's why, so that being overturned, I guess being in Kansas, we were impacted because we had the opportunity as a state to come back and say, hey, yeah, we'll keep that right. Thanks. Stay out of our uteruses, but give us our guns. We're fine. That type of thing. Because our Second Amendment right was more in trouble for a while than the abortion right was because of who we have running our state there. She's not a NRA loving person at all, but she can't circumvent the Constitution through our state's Constitution, thankfully. There's Robin. I knew you should come on. Yes, not all states are like Kansas. I get that. Hold on, I gotta add Kathy to the stage. Ducked out. She came back. There she is again. But so I guess, and so for some people, hi Kathy. And I agree. So in my mind, and I know it's a slippery slope. It's a woman's body. It is her choice. At the same time, you better know how your body works too, because abortion's not a form of birth control.
Well, no, and I don't think anybody was ever intending for it to be.
But and that's some of the arguments out there, right? Is that's
There's
what it's
some
being
idiots
used
out there
for.
that have used that, but that's not the
Yes.
purpose of it, and it never
Correct.
was intended to be.
Correct. I agree. Totally agree. Which is why I'm like, dudes, don't be sleeping with a chick if she's like, yeah, it's great. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and just whatever. Like, be smart. Use protection. Every time you have sex means every time that's a potential opportunity for life.
But then that goes back to the lack of sex education in schools too.
Dude, that's correct.
I mean,
Well, even in the home.
you want to go down that
Well,
road.
schools and home. Parents need to be responsible. I've talked to my daughter and my
Yes.
I've talked to all three of my children about understanding their body, specifically my daughter. It's her body. You're responsible for it. If you're going to make the decision to have the decision, then you need to make the decision to be responsible over your body.
Mhm.
And even if you're like, oh, I don't know when my period starts, well, then you better figure it out quickly. In my mind, if you're gonna claim responsibility, it's my body, it's my right, then you better know when it is a good time and when it's not a good time.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to be smart about sex and doing things safely. Like that definitely should be like number one. Number one.
Agreed.
But like abortion itself can be used in so many different circumstances that are not just, oh, oops, I got pregnant, I don't want it. Which, I mean, hey, if that's why somebody wants an abortion, absolutely, it is their choice. But I mean, there's just so many other things. There's medical necessity. There's people being sexually
Right.
assaulted. There's all sorts of reasons for something like that, a medical procedure to be
Agreed.
needed.
Yes.
So yeah,
Agreed.
so to see that being stepped on is it's it's scary.
But shouldn't it be back
It's
at the
scary.
states though? Shouldn't that decision be it's local, which means there's potential for more people to vote for it? I don't want the country
I
determining what
don't
I can
think
do at my level.
I don't think something medical should be something that people should be voting on.
I agree.
This
It's a
is
medical.
not, yeah,
It
I
is
mean, it is
ultimately a
a
medical
medical
procedure.
procedure. Like, are
Agreed.
we going to start voting on lung transplants? Like, it's a medical procedure.
So
This is not
the
something people should be
reason
voting on.
well,
that
it's a little different than that, in my opinion. I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, apples
it's
and
a
oranges there, but still.
so the reason that it got wrapped up where that particular, and I agree with you, Amber, it is a medical procedure. No matter how you look at it, if you up, down, sideways, it is a medical procedure, whether it be the medicinal version or the actual more invasive version. It is a medical procedure. Okay,
Yeah.
agree with
Mhm.
that. the reason it's wrapped up into the religious aspect of it, why this all became political, is most of your medical facilities were founded as a nonprofits by religious sects.
Right.
Religious groups founded them, and so they based them off of their religious beliefs. And there's not too
And if they
many.
don't wish to offer that, then that
Correct.
is okay.
But
There's
that
plenty of other
limits.
places that could
Well, it
and
does
should.
limit, though. It does limit the opportunity for certain medical because it's not just abortions. There's other medical procedures you can't do.
Yeah.
And they're right. You're right. They all have the choice, but there needs to be a balance of that where they are being offered and are not being offered. So there's an opportunity out there. So as far as the whole panel's concerned, I say pro-abortion, but I'm pro-choice. Make your choice, but you should be responsible with your choices. And I know people who aren't. What's the rest of the panel's view on it?
Yeah,
Sorry, you're gonna love hearing this. I'm pro-life.
No
Sorry.
abortion, zero at all.
I'm pro-choice.
No matter what. No abortions whatsoever.
Yep.
Kathy?
Depends on the situation. I would say I'm pro-life. However, if someone gets pregnant against their will, rape, incest, things like that, I think that should be in consideration of what decision that they make.
I'm going to throw a wrench in the works on everybody on this one, because those are very common views. Nothing wrong with them. Very valid. But let's say, because we've all been in this situation, violent relationship, toxic, unhealthy relationship, and a pregnancy is now in the formula.
It should be up to the woman.
She
does not want to have, she doesn't want to have to.
If having that baby means you are exposed to that baby, and you are both exposed to that abuse.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For an unknown amount of time, the risk. Does that change the idea? Does that change the thought? Does that change anything?
That person made a consensual choice to have sex with that person that she knows is abusive. So
that's not always. That's not necessarily true. I've been in a relationship where the sex was not consensual.
Then that would be rape, and so that goes the other way, in my opinion.
I still feel like, this goes back years and years ago, that my mind I was on the fence years ago, and then there came a point where I saw some things, heard some things. I understand incest, and if you're raped, and you could be raped, and it could be incest all together. But I still feel like, it have that,
And I get that. And like I said, there's no right or wrong answers here. This is complete opinion based on experiences. And I find this an interesting conversation, because I've been on the fence. I've been on one side, I've been on the other side. So I have round robin this for myself all over the place. I've done enough true crime research to see how some of these kids are involved in true crime, where there could have been a different decision made early on regarding this conversation, but the kid was born and endured a life of complete misery, just unspeakable. So does that get to play into this belief factor here? Does that, because I know, Katie, like you, at one point in time, I was very much pro-life. There's no reason for this, none at all. Just make it work. If you don't want it, give it up. Case closed. And then I saw some things. I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is. It really was a hard. It was a hard decision to be like pro-choice. Like, make your choices, but man, I don't like the choices some people make.
But do you really know what's going to happen? No one knows the future.
Agreed.
No one knows. I mean, you can look at the statistics and think about you can think about your religious and your political views and all of that, but I just don't agree with it. Like, I mean, I have put myself in that position thinking like, and I had a heated discussion with my mom when she was alive about this topic, and my grandmother actually.
Were they for, or what was their position
Oh, they were totally against it.
against abortion?
Yes.
Okay. But why
Uh,
were you heated over it? Why heated if you're against it too? What was the heat?
Well, I can't say, well, I'll step back. Not heated per se. Well, it got heated because we were just like now, having a discussion.
Mhm.
And
It's a sensitive topic to talk about.
It is
So-
very sensitive. Yes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Why do you guys think it's so sensitive? If it's
You're talking about a life. You're talking about a life. You're talking about, that's my opinion. You can talk about, a fetus is a fetus, and then it's a baby, and then it has a heartbeat at this many weeks, and you can have all those discussions, but that's why it's heated. You're talking about a life, another life.
And see, I think that it's heated because there are, people like Katie who says it's a life, and then there are other people who say, well, it's not a life until it can breathe. I mean, and there's just so many varying opinions on that.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I feel like that's what drives me to be pro-choice, because it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're somebody like Katie and this is how you believe, and you're not going to do that, then absolutely,
Good for you,
stick to what you believe. But if there's somebody else out there that's like, I don't believe this, and I need to look out for me and my life, and maybe my other children, if there's other children involved, or maybe because of a relationship, or maybe because of how the child was conceived. I mean, there's just so many varying stances on it, that to me, it's like, I feel like you just need to stick to how you personally feel about it. Now, yeah, should it be used as a form of birth control? Absolutely fucking not. That is not what it is for. To me, it's like, it is a very difficult decision to make. It should be used
It's
only
a
in
last
extreme
resort
circumstances,
option.
when maybe. What's
Well,
that?
there are so many people, so many women that do use it as birth kit. Well, I'm just, I'll just
Yeah.
abort the baby.
Oh, I know, and
You know?
I don't agree with that. I mean, it's just, if somebody does that, that's their that's
That's
their
their
prerogative.
choice. That's what, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
So, and Patrick's in the chat, and he's bringing up an interesting point. So it's a woman's body, or her choice, whether whether she allows everybody to weigh in on it or not. It's her choice. So, and it's a big, not a burden, not a weight. It's a big change in a woman's body to go through pregnancy. We've all been there. Whether it's one time or multiple times, everyone, all three of my pregnancies were different. Oh, there's the puppy. Sorry. I saw, it's like seeing a
I'm
squirrel on
trying
my
to keep her
dog.
out.
Damn it. I was getting all kinds of like in the mood, and now I'm like, oh, puppy, let me touch. And Abby's really soft. Oh my gosh, I was on. So what if, okay, so woman's pregnant. She preferred to have an abortion because let's just take out the whole abortion as a birth method of birth control. And let's just say, I'm in college, I'm pregnant, I can't do this. I don't have family support. I don't have what I need. Things are really jacked up in my life. I don't have my shit together. This is a one-off. I'm just going to go down the clinic and I'm going to get this taken care of, and we'll never talk about this again. I'll have a family later on. And the dude's like, I'll raise it. If you'll be pregnant with it, I'll take it and I'll raise it.
What's your question?
Amber's laughing, and Katie's like, "What's the question? I don't hear anything wrong here. It sounds like she's having a baby and he's raising it."
The question is, where is the men's choice when it comes to this.
Well,
Because
yes.
it's always what the woman wants to do, and the man's opinion is never considered. They might say that they'll consider it, but ultimately it's not.
Right, because so it takes two typically, if you're not in a science in a lab, let's take all the science out of it, right? We're talking about actual typical everyday good old fashioned getting pregnant, right? Because keeping in mind I'm not a proponent of child support. Just put that out there. That's a whole other shenanigans discussion to
Don't even
take
get me
on.
That'd be
started
a
on
good one.
that.
I am not a proponent of it. I flipping hate that I get any, and I only get. We'll do that discussion later. It might end up coming in here. But if you, as a guy, are if as a woman you are allowing a guy to engage with you in that fashion, is it worthwhile to consider the idea that he has part of the decision making factor despite it's your body?
Yes, I agree.
I
But yeah,
knew Katie was going to come in strong on that
Yeah.
one. I knew it.
yeah, sorry.
Potentially.
So wait, Amber, say that again. What?
I said potentially. I mean, because you could have, I mean, let's say you accidentally get pregnant.
Takes two to
It's
tango.
yes, yes,
Takes, and both of the
absolutely,
two should have a choice in
and
the making of the choice.
right. I mean, I definitely think that it should be a discussion because I mean, a lot of times the woman's going to make that decision based on the fact of, do I have the support of this other person? And if they do have the support of that other person, then, then maybe she decides, okay, then let's keep it, let's raise it, let's move forward with this. Then if she feels like I don't even have your support, then I don't even know what I'm going to do. So, I mean, I definitely think that the discussion needs to be had. Um, but again, I mean, in the end, it's her body. She's the one going through all of this. That man could walk away right before the child's born. That's what happened to my mother. That's why I never had a dad. She found out she was pregnant and he was like, "Oh yeah, baby, I'm here for you," yada yada yada. A month later he walked away and she never saw him again. You know, um, I mean, hey, I'm glad I'm here, but had she, made
We're glad
another
you're here
decision,
too, Amber.
yeah. But I'm just saying, I mean, um, it's it's definitely worth having the conversation, especially if you're on the fence and you don't know what to do. Because maybe that hint of, I will be there to support you. Let's go ahead and go through with
Okay,
this.
so for just for funsies,
Yeah.
you guys are together.
Funsies. I like that. Yeah,
Undies.
just for fun.
Just for funsies. You woman winds up pregnant, man says, "I'll raise baby with you." We start raising baby, married or not, doesn't matter, right? At some point in time, you split. Now he's like, not going to pay child support, and I'm not going to show up, and I'm not going to do the father thing anymore. We're not going to get rid of the kid because we're attached. We have relationships. We're just going to make it work. What's the difference in pre-child being born versus post-birth and established situation?
Well, we all know the difference, but I
Yeah.
think once it's, and I'm just going to go back to me being pro-life. I mean, it's your body, but it's no longer your body once you're pregnant. So that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, that really throws a wrench in the works. I thought I was throwing wrenches. You just threw a
I
whole
mean,
engine into the situation. Is it okay? So it is your body. There just happens to be another one that found its way in there. So there's
yeah. So it's no longer your body. You should that's my, I don't know. It's just something that I don't think I'll ever change and I'm not looking to change anyone's opinion. And
right.
we're all, great friends and have different opinions about things, but that's just something that I will always believe. And once you get pregnant, no matter what means it is, it's no longer just your body.
Which, okay, with that, I'll piggyback off that to say then women are responsible to know what their body is doing when it's doing it, and they're responsible alone.
I mean, you should.
I would take the
I
man
agree.
out
Yeah,
the
the guy's
mix.
not gonna know.
I agree.
The guy don't know you're ovulating.
I would agree with that only in the cases where they don't have control.
Right.
Well, yeah, you take the control that disturbing factor of the rape and yeah, that one. If you take that off the factor, but as soon as I figured out that I could control when I did and did not get pregnant, because I throw out the whole idea that it's God's will. It's we have the ability to figure out when we are and are not in a susceptible position to get pregnant. There are clear signs. There are now.
It's not 100% that, I mean, yeah, I hear you and I understand. But
Well, there's even tests out there that are like pregnancy tests. They're ovulation tests. I've never taken one. I don't know how they work, but they're the ones that test your hormones to determine this is a good time to try and get pregnant because your chances are increased because of your hormone level. It's not a guarantee, to your point, Katie. But when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was using natural family planning. So I knew when my days were, and I think we started and it took us 2 months. And we were pregnant with her. No, so but to me, it's like if it's your body, it's your choice. And if, like Katie's saying, you need to take responsibility for it, that takes out the guy's choice, in my opinion. That takes out his opportunity to say, well, here's what I think you should do. You don't get to do that. The baby's coming no matter what. Now you get to determine, are you going to be a dad, or are you going to be involved, or are you not? And that's why I didn't for my first marriage, I didn't take child support. I had 2 boys, 0 child support on purpose. I am not a proponent of child support. You should not have to force somebody to be a parent financially, emotionally, physically. I don't agree with that because that will ruin the child so severely and create such psychological problems. It's unbelievable.
it can, not always, but it can.
It's if you have to force somebody to take that. It's one thing if somebody's like, hey, let's sit down and have a coming to Jesus conversation about a child coming through, and somebody's like, oh my God, I didn't think of that. That's one thing. But for a court to say, you're going to step up and be a financial parent. No, I'm not. Too many people get screwed over in that situation, and it's not appropriate. If you can't take care of the child financially, that's what adoption is for. Find a family that can adopt. Amber is back.
Oh man, so now my audio is all sorts of screwed up.
That is, holy crap. Dude, you sound like the Fuzz.
So it is me.
It is you. It's not us, it's you. It's not like a breakup where it's not you, it's me. It's definitely you. You are the problem. She's all like all over the place. If you guys are not watching the video, you need to watch the video portion of the podcast right now because we just did a flip on Amber's computer. I don't know what's happening, but
I got my phone.
She sounds funny and drunk, and we're doing acrobatics. Oh my God! Do a refresh or something. What the?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna pop out again. I'll be back.
You are. Yeah.
I am dying.
Oh my God, I can't do that. That was the one call. At least, okay, so at least leave it to Shenanigans to take a really serious conversation and make it as lighthearted as possible where nobody's getting pissed off. This is the great thing. Oh my God. So that as far as like I'm not into people being forced to be a parent. That should be a conscious, intentional decision that you make. Because it's intentional and it's conscious every single day you're a parent, in my opinion. That's been my experience. You want to be a parent, you do it every single day. Sometimes it feels like a natural decision. Clearly with my current situation with my elder son, Amber's trying to get back in. I don't know if I should let her in. All right, I let you. She's in, but she's not in. What the hell?
I don't see her face.
You don't see her face either, but there's a space for her. What is happening? She disappeared. Oh my gosh.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think. My God.
Okay, I don't know what was happening, but I was just like,
your computer's drinking is what's happening. Holy crow.
wow. Okay, I'm gonna try to put my phone back into my little stand here.
Oh my God.
Do another backflip. There we
Oh,
go.
emergency. There's get to
Oh.
Ducky point. Emergency intervention needed. All the drinks. Correct. Yes. Accurate.
Oh, wow. That was insane. Okay.
No, I was talking about so the women's right. If you're, and that's kind of where I get into that woman's right thing is if you're going to have the kid, if you're going to be divorced, I'm not a big proponent of child support. Do the right thing. Be the parent for the kid. Don't be an asshole just to be an asshole to your ex type of thing. And I
Oh
know all
gosh,
of us
yeah.
have something to
We could
say
do a
about
whole
that.
show on that.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
we can.
Correct. Because I said I am not a proponent of child support whatsoever. I don't think the court should be involved in that. Somebody should just step it up. And this is coming from somebody before I get
Unfortunately,
hate mail.
that's what happens. The court gets involved because, I mean,
Yep, they do. And I got lucky. I say this, right? I got lucky with my first divorce. I did exert my right as a woman, and I'll say that proudly, and I'll say it every time. And we had a judge who worked with us. It was technically illegal. If we go back, my first divorce is technically illegal because I should have, by Kansas state statutes, I should have received child support. But a judge signed off on 0 child support. We had shared custody. It didn't end up always being shared, but I did not want child support. And I had no degree. I had been a stay-at-home mom for years, so I had no work experience that was worth a damn. And I was making, originally when I first got divorced, I had a job making $10 an hour. I got fired from that job, dropped down to $7.30 an hour, and I worked my way up to a 6-figure income salary. So anybody who's like, oh, it's so hard, but I don't give a damn. I do not care. Don't tell me how
It's
hard it
always
is.
possible.
Yeah, it's
It's always
completely possible.
possible. You got to apply yourself, but you
Well,
got to work your ass off.
make
But it's
yeah.
possible.
Well, that's, to me, I'm independent. I will take care of myself and whatever came out of my body. That's how I feel. And if you
Right.
want to do your
Same.
part as the person who helped me invent whatever came out of my body, good for you. I'll support that. I'll foster that. I'll help you along the way. But otherwise, I get child support for my second child. I lied about all of the income he made, so it's not near as much as I could get. I get $80 a week in child support for her. That's it. And I have been since she was 3. Proud. And
for my older 3 kids, I told my attorney, and luckily it could have been a lot worse going through that. But I said, I don't want I don't want a penny from him, and he shouldn't get a penny from me. He takes this, I take that, or, like, let's just, and then we'll figure out, I mean, parental schedules and all of that, but I don't need his money.
correct. Me either. I made my own. And I cut corners. I became so damn resourceful as a single mom with a minimal amount of money to work with. And I just made it work. And I got to where I'm at today. I have a corporate job. I have a nice salary. I own a house. My boys rent it from me. My boyfriend, I don't like to call him that, whatever, Bo, the guy I'm sleeping with, call him whatever you want. We have a separate house. We've made it work. And my kids have all the respect for me. They were raised by an independent woman, not to be, I didn't raise them to be like, lift women up and women are key and women are blood. No, I raised them to be independent so that I didn't want society to hold them up. I wanted them to contribute to society. To me, as an independent individual, that was my job. I never saw myself as a feminist or feminazi or any of those things. In fact, I'm not a big fan of half the crap that goes behind that, but that's just me.
My son's father tried to ask me for child support.
Oh, Kathy, would you like to chime in on that one?
That was laughable because
I'll need the whole
I don't even
hour.
have a job right
I'll need
now.
I'll need the whole hour.
Oh, you know what? I will schedule a whole child support conversation because
We should.
poor Kathy pays child support. I know several women in
Oh.
this day and age, several
Mhm.
women in this day and age that pay child support. You're not the only one I know, Kathy. And it just blows my mind. That child support is it's a
And it's
weapon.
not just a little.
No, it's a
The state
bullshit
of Kansas
amount.
can suck my left titty.
That might be kind of a turn on for you. You might want to be careful. You might be sleeping with Kansas before you know it. I don't know.
Shut up. Shut up. No, I don't want to do that. No, but
See?
seriously, it is a topic of discussion that we need to have.
It is, because I have a lot to say on that, and I have a lot of reasons why. But again, as an independent person, that my job is my kids. I'll take care of my kids. You want to take care of them as their father? Good for you. That would be great. But be there for them. That's all I wanted. So it's, yeah, we'll have to do big long discussion on that. So circling back, oh, Kitty did her Irish goodbye. There she went, but she did stick to her 45 minutes. So, like I said, I don't agree with that. Our rights are at loss. I see our rights going back to local levels, and that is a slippery slope. If you give the states the rights back to determine things, you better hope you're in a state that values those abilities to make decisions. Kansas does. Oklahoma, not so much.
Yeah.
But I really don't see women being at risk of losing the ability to own property, because I own property as a woman. Amber, you are a business
No,
owner.
I don't necessarily see that risk, but just the fact that there's any rights conversation at all is still very it's disheartening, because we're all humans. It should not matter what genitalia are in our pants. It's just humans should
What
just
we
have
think are in
human
our
rights,
pants
and that's that.
nowadays.
God, here we go.
Wait, what? Say that
I was
again.
waiting
Did I
for
miss
Kathy
something?
to do it. I
I
was
said,
waiting for Kathy.
or what we think is in our pants today.
Or what we think was
Today's
in our
day.
That's
pants.
a whole other
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
conversation. Jeez.
but I mean, but still, a human is a human is a human, and it should just be across the board. I mean, we shouldn't be, as women, we should not have to wonder what could possibly roll back. We
See,
shouldn't have to.
I don't. That's the thing. That's why this blows my mind, because don't. I don't think what can roll back, but I live. I mean, if I lived in a state where Roe versus Wade impacted the opportunity negatively at the medical level, right? Or I've never watched The Handmaid's Tale. I see a lot of similarities
Oh
being
gosh,
made.
that's
This is,
scary, man.
but
It's very scary.
I've seen a
I used
lot
to read that
of.
book once a year just to stay sharp and pay attention,
See,
because
okay, I
there's
get
so
this.
many, it's the little things. It's the little
I get
things
that.
that snowball.
Okay, so I get the stay sharp, pay attention. So years ago, I was in my bachelor's program. And so my background, my bachelor's degree is in organizational leadership and transformational change. We had to do a lot of social studies, social economics, the actual people part of it was a big part of my studies, people behavior at the groupthink level, at the independent level. And so we had to do this big um, project on a community of practice, and we had to choose this community of practice. So this is community of practice. If you're not familiar with the term, it's a group of people who are pursuing the same goal. Okay, cool. So I chose feminists because I was not a fan of feminists. I was anti-feminist big time because of how I'd seen them respond, how I'd seen them act, how I'd seen them treat other people, generally act. Just the general stereotypical feminist is what I was against. So I wanted to better acquaint myself and become more educated as to why women choose to be feminists. So I did a whole study, and I did not realize my instructor was a huge flaming feminist. I love this woman. She is outstanding. I did not know she was a feminist, which just makes her a great teacher, because I should not be able to tell what her political values are at all as a teacher. Should not ever be able to tell that. She was thrilled that I was doing that, because most people think I am a feminist. Most people a lot of people that don't know me as well would just paint me as a feminist. So I did this project and explained what feminists were, who they were. Actually, feminism goes clear back into the Bible. Not many people realize that. Starting with the woman who led an actual army in the Bible. That's why I mentioned that during the monologue. Had me fool. Correct. Most people don't realize I'm not a feminist. And the whole feminist idea. I'm not a big proponent of it. But one of the things I mentioned is that my job as a mom, specifically to a girl, I have a 15-year-old. My job is not to teach her how to fight for women. The fight's been done. In my opinion, The fight's been done. We've had 3 women run for president. I'm not going to say 2 of them were the best idea, but okay, at least we had women running. And actually, the first woman who ran for president ran decades and decades and decades ago. Like, she was outstanding. But my job as a woman is to remind my daughter of what women have done, so that they will so that the future female generations will uphold the victories. They will continue to honor those wins, and they'll take advantage of them. They will vote, they will buy property, they will do the things they're supposed to be doing, make the big accomplishments, find the double helix in the DNA, create in-home heating, be the first female to fly around the world. But that's what I teach my daughters, that we don't have anything to fight for. We have everything to uphold and honor what women before us did. Because if we don't, if we don't take advantage of what they did, we dishonor what they did entirely.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't mean we go
100%
backwards.
agree.
It does not mean we go backwards. But if women stop voting, what was the point of us getting the vote? If we and we will do a whole segment on feminism, because people don't understand. It just makes my blood boil to see some of the things that people say when they start quoting Susan B. Anthony or Gloria Steinem or Gloria Friedman. They have no idea the kind of women that they're actually backing, because they don't understand their background. These women were not feminists to be feminists and to girl power. They were feminists because they were pissed with men. Had nothing to do with women, had everything to do with men, which is the wrong reason, in my opinion. You don't fight the opposition, you trailblaze for the future. And that's what the likes of Mary McLeod Bethune did and Deborah Sampson did. They didn't do it because they were trying to fight men. They were trying to fight with men for the future. And I think if we were start looking at things that way, then maybe we'd stop worrying about.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, it should be, because I don't see I have a 15-year-old daughter. I'm honestly, given her personality, and Amber, you know her, you've seen her, you're very familiar with her. She's 6 feet tall, by the way. Now you should see her. She just grows like a damn weed. I don't worry about her at all. Like, she just paves her own
She's
way.
got a
She
strong
doesn't.
personality, and she's going to do great.
Yeah, so I don't honestly. Now, strong personalities. I'm a strong personality, and that's probably why people see me as a feminist. Because I'm a strong personality, but I've been groomed and shaped and molded and trained by the best men that there could have ever possibly been. I'm hoping they're watching, because they know who they are. But I never concerned myself with being successful because I was a woman. I concerned myself with being successful because I was a mom. That was my number one concern when I got divorced the first time, is I need to be successful because I've got kids. I have people relying on me. Had nothing to do with my genitalia. That's why I don't see. That's why if I don't see the issues and the problems probably with going backwards and Handmaid's Tale and all that great fun jazz, so to speak. Probably not great fun jazz, but I'm not speaking in literal terms for those of you out there. But I don't see it because I'm too busy forging my way forward and showing my daughter the path that she needs to continue to keep going forward with.
Sure.
Kathy,
I mean,
you are changing more
live
positions.
your life just in constant fear of that, right? I mean, you just keep going. You got to keep doing. You got to keep, doing the amazing things that you're doing. It's just, to me, I do acknowledge the fact that there is at least some danger there, that something that we need to keep an eye on, and we need to be willing to fight for it again if it comes to that.
See, and I have a hard time grasping the idea of having to fight for it again, okay, if you want to, I do have some belief, minor belief in some of the crap we see in Hollywood and on TV and Netflix, where robots take over the world. I, Legend was more of a documentary, just as Men in Black is a documentary.
Oh, I know. I'm ready for the robots to take over, actually.
It's called A Flipping I.
You're
No, ma'am.
ready for it? I'm terrified of it.
I'm on the Kathy boat. AI is
I'm
the
I'm sure it would
scariest
not be a good
flipping
thing, but
thing. It scares the crap out of me.
I read something this morning about, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. That AI is now generating music.
Yes, they have a
And-
band. They took
and-
the best bands and created an AI band that has like Nirvana and all the best of the best of the best rolled up into 5 AI guys and creating
And
music.
yeah, it's making the music industry a little bit uneasy.
I am not a fan of
So,
AI
Yeah.
at all. Not a fan. Not going to do
I
it.
mean, I love AI when it comes to
knowledge.
helping me create Instagram captions for my silly reels.
So
Because
you're not the marketing funniest I had identified you as. Thanks a lot. Now I look like a fool. An
no,
AI fool, no less.
the reels are real. The
Those are
caption
funny.
AI helps me.
I'm going to do a shameless plug for her because she won't do it. If you're not familiar with, and I switch the words, it's blown and bronzed or bronzed and blown.
Blown and bronzed.
Blown and bronzed. Amber owns a cute, adorable salon in Stillwater, Oklahoma called Blown and Bronzed. And she has, you go on Instagram, go on Facebook, and go on Threads and go find her. Her reels for her Blown and Bronzed shop are adorable and they're funny and they are just creative. She is, I call her a marketing funniest, which is like a genius, but fun style because they're just adorable. Okay, shameless plug over. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But it's so that's, I don't know. That's why I don't see the idea of us losing our rights, but I see the idea of us not taking advantage of them. So maybe maybe I'm saying the same thing. I'm just seeing it in a slightly different color. Like you guys are seeing it red, I'm probably in the more pink zone, so to speak, to stick with girl
Maybe so.
colors. Because I had seen a show, I used to be a big show of Last Man Standing. It was a sitcom on ABC years ago. And I was doing my project when the show was on the air. Pissed a lot of people off because it's a conservative based show with a lot of conservative humor, making fun of the liberal side. Whatever. It's funny. Ha. And the mom and dad had 3 daughters. And mom was talking to one of the daughters who's kind of getting to that super liberal zone. And she's like, look, our rights are not a threat. So stop talking about it, but start taking advantage of it. Because if you don't take advantage of it, you screw every woman over who fought for you to have those rights, because women died so you could do what you're doing today. They died so you could bitch.
Yeah.
Openly and proudly. They died so you could be whoever the hell you wanted to be. And if you are not that person, you have screwed these women over and dishonored them. And to me, that's what I'm teaching my daughter is. And I've told even my boys, I'm like, go vote. Even as guys, go vote. Go make your voice heard. And so that's where I'm big at with. It's not we're losing them, but if we don't take advantage of them, they're worthless.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. And Kathy, I just have a
I'm
question.
not listening to you guys.
Are you in a drive-through right now? Because if so, I have an order.
It's really hard to do a fucking podcast while you're driving.
But you make it look so natural.
So-
And then you keep switching
Could
positions.
you give me a Big
You're
Mac,
changing
please?
lanes. There's no way she is at that. There's no way she's in a drive-through where there's McDonald's. Or damn it.
I'm
I'm gonna
not.
say that.
I'm getting pizza to take home to the boys. So
Oh, okay. I like
Yeah.
pepperoni. I love Supreme. So
You like what?
I'll take a medium. If
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm getting some food. Asher and Eric are home, and they eat everything in the house when they're home.
Correct. Accurate. Yes. That's why I moved away from my teenage. They're not teenagers. They feel like they eat like teenagers, but moved away from my adult sons. Well, one still lives with me part-time now because of his situation, but whatever. So it's, so fun fact, because feminism got brought up and I just get excited to share this point. One of the things that just irritate me about feminism is Rosie the Riveter. It's my biggest irritation with feminists. Do you guys have any idea why it would be an irritant for me?
No.
No.
It's the irony.
I always liked her.
Yeah, wait till I tell you what I tell you. It's the irony behind Rosie the Riveter. So Rosie the Riveter was propaganda to get women to go to work to save the economy in World War II.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
pretty
somebody
obvious.
had to do it.
Somebody did have to do it, all the women. So Rosie the Riveter was based off of actually two women. One is accredited for it, but there's actually two women that were, it was a combination of these two women. The song for Rosie the Riveter was created by men, two men. The Rosie the Riveter icon was created by another man. Three men created the entire marketing campaign for Rosie the Riveter. That's why I do not appreciate her being an icon for the feminists, because it's man created.
Of course.
It was not a woman at all. It blows my mind that as many women adopt that as the icon for feminism. They do not understand it was created by man to get women okay to go to work. And they needed to. Women saved the economy in World War II. I believe it was World War II. Women saved the economy by going to work and taking the manufacturing jobs and creating the planes and creating the tools and the resources that we needed to fight the way the U.S. did and support the allies that we did. But it was all man-based.
Yeah. I mean, I know she wasn't like a real person. Just
She's based off of two real women, yes. And with the only one's credited for it, but there's actually two, and I'll have to go back to my project because that was part of my big project. It was actually two women. I found the name of the second woman, but the second woman's never been truly put out there. But one man took a woman's likeness and sexualized her to appeal to women.
yeah. Well. You just peed my Cheerios.
I know. Do you want to know where the real first feminist came from? The first real wave of feminism? Do you know where it's at? Nobody realizes this. Do you know where the first real wave of feminism at? 'Cause it was not the early 1900s with Susan B. Anthony, which is a whole other soapbox I'd love to get on with you gals, because I'm not a fan of hers either. The first real feminist is Rebecca in the Bible. She led an army in the book of Numbers.
Yeah.
She was the first,
I
and she
see
was
that, yeah.
identified specifically for her leadership skills. She wasn't like the last woman standing, so to speak, or last man standing. They chose her specifically because of how she could speak and influence everybody. She is the first feminist documented, and she's in the Bible.
Ooh.
I know, it's very cool. There's all kinds of great women in the Bible. The OGBA. The chat. Prairie Sage says Rebecca, the OG badass. Correct, accurate. Yes. Yes. So that's why when I did that report on feminism, that's why I'm still not a big fan of feminism, because feminists have not, the stereotypical, I'll say, stereotypical feminist has not done her research to understand why the leaders of feminism did what they did. It wasn't about women's rights. It was about putting a man down. Gloria Steinem. Nope. Is it Steinem? Is that the one that wears the shirt? Steinem is not the attorney, but the actual second wave feminist. I always confuse her for the attorney.
I thought she was the attorney.
No, there's Gloria. Oh, somebody in
I
the
do
chat.
remember.
Go check Google. She was the second wave. She's considered the leader of the second wave of feminism in the 60s or 70s. She would wear the shirt, I'm proud of my abortions. Is it Steinem? I think it's Steinem. Anyway, that gal, the reason that she was the way she was, no, she wasn't the ex-bunny, but that's hilarious because she's so anti.
And it should only be like maybe another 3-4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
But Gloria was she became the way she was because her father left the family early on. She was around 12 or 13. Gloria was, when the dad abandoned the family. And mom had severe mental issues. And not a lot of people realize this, but Gloria's mom had severe mental issues, emotional mental issues. They couldn't figure out what's going on. Doctors couldn't understand it. She thought doctors weren't helping mom because mom was a woman. They weren't helping mom because what mom was going through had not been identified. They had not labeled it. They had not figured it out until many years later. But she held men accountable for her mother's demise. And that's why she went after women's rights the way she did. It had nothing to do with women. It was all about screwing men back over because she thought men screwed her mom over. It's a really sad story, and I feel for her, but she carried that anger for years and years and years. Let's see, Patrick has a question. Is abortion a choice or a right? There's a difference in those two words. Abortion's a medical procedure. That's not about right or wrong. It's a medical procedure. It's a medical procedure like breast augmentation or breast reduction is a medical procedure. I had my uterus taken out. That was a medical procedure. Life-saving, mind you. Some women have their uterus taken out to avoid getting pregnant. That would make it a form of birth control. Just like guys have vasectomies.
Mine was a choice. Technically, like I could have lived with my uterus. My uterus wasn't trying to kill me like it was you.
Yes, I had to divorce that bitch.
But it was, you know, it was a choice because it was definitely the lesser of the two evils. It was either
I had
that
my
or
tubes tied,
bleed
but
to
that was
death.
my choice.
Which is a form of birth control.
It is.
And that's totally fine. And I see no problem with that. But my uterus was trying to kill me. There was a severe, my life was at stake. They had to get it out of me. I was in bad shape at the time. I'm pretty sure Jim saw a whole other personality to me. He's like, oh my God, can you come back when you feel better? I'm like, oh, really? That's fine. That's just, I don't remember the conversation, but apparently I was super hormonal. Yeah, get to ducking point. Yeah, I did a deep dive into a lot of the well-known feminists of the first wave, second wave, and third wave. And I was validated in some of my feelings, and I learned a lot. Primarily, I learned that teaching my daughter to take advantage of the women's rights that are out there, the rights that women have died for, the rights they had suffered for, need to be taken advantage of. A really good example of that would be Elizabeth C. Stanton. She was not about fighting the man. She was about just treating everybody equally and fairly, because her father would tell her and remind her all the time that she was not wanted. Her father only wanted boys, and I think he had a handful of boys, and Elizabeth was the only girl, and he would remind her all the time, all right, fine, I'll educate you, and I'll get you to a point of success, but I didn't want you because you're a girl. And that's not what she wanted. She wanted everybody to feel included. She's the actual, if you look back at it, she's really the creator of DEI, diversity, inclusion.
DEI.
Yeah, whatever you call that. If you spell it correctly, it's die. So it's kind of dangerous, but whatever. But she was that person who did truly want inclusive rights for everybody. Unfortunately, she was kind of shrugged off as crazy because of some of the stuff that she wrote, unfortunately. So, oh, Prairie Sage, you came in late, didn't you? Thoughts on men having rights to their unborn child? You came in late. We covered that earlier. That's an interesting conversation. I wish Katie was here because Katie is so passionate, but she was so articulate at the same time. She did a good job of expressing that, but that Prairie Sage, go back and watch the probably about the midsection of this live. No, you're fine, honey. You don't have to be on time. That's why there's replay. But go back and watch, and if you don't get your answer, you know how to get a hold of me firsthand, and I'll tell you what's going on. Not a big deal. So, all right, we're about 15 minutes over. Is there more to add? I'm open.
I'm good.
You good? She's like, I'm driving. I'm tired of this crap.
So. We could. I'm sure there's more to add, but we could always save it for another show. So
Part two.
We'll do a part 2.
4.
So next week, I'll go ahead and start up for next week. Let's go back into the child support thing, and let's deep dive into that.
Yeah.
I think the views on it would be, it'd be interesting to see all the different views on it, and kind of put out there, because we're all in different situations with that. Amber, you're out of the child support range because you're empty nesting. Katie's empty nesting. She's got a kid at home, but she's with dad. Kathy pays child support and I receive it. And so I think that would be a really great conversation for next week. So we'll talk about child support and whether it's cool or not cool. What should be
I will be in the car. This, just FYI, this time, and it's not a big deal, but I have Luke this was not my weekend to have them. I'll tell you all about that offline, but I have them next week, so I'll be in the car again. Every other week I won't.
If you're going to
So.
be in the car,
That's
if you'll
okay.
just
We'll take
angle the
you however we can get you.
well, hold on.
Thank
We're
you.
going to take her a little bit more. If she'll just angle the camera downward a
I
little.
can't.
See, now we
I
got
can't.
booby shot. That's
Oh,
what we were
shit.
doing.
Yeah. I want to take over that left tit that Kansas had. I'm going to take it back for you.
That's awesome.
funny.
All right, so and hopefully Carrie was going to be here with us tonight. She had a last minute change of plans. She was not happy about it because she had a lot to say about the
Oh.
subject too. So we will do a part 2 because I think the full panel would be good on it. And we might, if you guys have thoughts on women's rights, get a hold of me. If you have my personal contact information. If you don't, email shenaniganstalks@gmail.com. I know I haven't checked it recently, but I'll start checking it again. So just email your questions, your curiosities, your anonymous information that way, or the Facebook page. I'm going to do the whole thing. It feels weird, but like and subscribe to Shenanigans Talks. That feels weird to say, to be honest with you. I don't like saying that, but I guess I'm supposed to.
You got
Very
to
safe.
shamelessly plug yourself too.
I shamelessly plugged you, and I even got the name wrong, I'm sure, but it still worked out.
You got to do it for yourself.
True, because this is what I want to do for a living. Prairie Sage, I'm happy to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I haven't seen your name in a long time. Send me a text. I'd love to have a chat with you and catch up with you. Patrick, you never offend anybody. I don't know why you think you do. Where this is shenanigans. If you're offended, get out. That's that simple. There's no other way to put it. This is not about being offended. This is about learning. That's what shenanigans is. Get to Ducking Point. You're always here. Thank you for always being here. Like Patrick, you guys are awesome. I don't have an outro, so this is going to be one of those Irish goodbyes where we're just kind of just stop type of thing. So, and I'll work on the intro because that was weird. It's still awkward. But you guys, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.